In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I made $18.5 thousand just sports betting. Not only that, this was done in one single month. This wasn't from one single parlay, this was over the course of 1,409 different bets. So no, I wasn't lucky, this isn't a gimmick, and I'm not selling picks. And I know this isn't a gimmick because I was just like you at one point in my life. And that's the truth, 99% of sports bettors lose money long term. We're going to be putting together different bets across many different sports books in this video to show you exactly what the process looks like. But if you want to be a part of the 1% that actually profits, stay to the very end of this video to uncover the exact strategy that I've used to have a winning month just like the one pictured. The best part about this strategy is that it requires little to no time daily to use. It's not complicated and you don't have to be a math genius in order to execute the strategy. And this strategy is otherwise known as plus EV betting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through this entire plus EV betting strategy from start to finish. But before we start, you must understand the basics. Think of plus EV betting as price comparing. That is it. On the surface, all you're doing is you're comparing prices against the market, the same exact way you do this in everyday life. Now let's think about it like this. Let's directly compare to the car market, right? Let's assume that you go out car shopping. You decide on a make, model, and year. Your favorite car happens to be a Honda Civic, right? We'll call it 2024. Now, you as a consumer, you're always going to do your due diligence, right? You're going to go through and you're going to car shop at every single possible car dealership that you can to find the best price, obviously, right? For instance, if you know that the exact same specs exist on one vehicle that's $20,000, but the other is $25,000, 100% of the time, you're going to choose a $20,000 car, right? Like that example in itself might seem so obvious, and that is exactly what plus EV betting is in sports betting. I'm not doing anything else other than price comparing versus various different props. Now here's another consumer market example. In sports betting, through plus EV betting, what we're doing is we're making a bet that the value is mispriced on specific game markets, player props, whatever you're betting on. So let's directly compare it to an actual asset. How about the housing market, right? You go to buy a house, and what you're essentially doing is you're making a bet that you're making a very good investment on that house. And just like car shopping, you go out and you do your due diligence. You travel to different areas, you price compare within certain neighborhoods, and you make sure that what you're buying is a very good investment. When you make a sports bet, you're making a bet that that is also a good investment, that you're going to win that bet. But now let's actually talk about how to read these prices because they can be confusing. Sports betting uses what's called an American odds system. What you'll see when you log on to a typical sports book like FanDuel or DraftKings is a projection, and next to the projection, depending on the market, is either a minus number or a plus number. And those numbers are called American odds, otherwise known as implied odds. Basically, the sports book is assigning an odds value to that bet, and those American odds then translate to the exact payout that you'll receive by betting that specific bet. Let's take a look at one of the more popular game markets in MLB, and that's the game total. On the right side of the screen, you'll see a total column. Right below that, you'll see two numbers, an over 8 and an under 8. Under both of those game totals, you'll see an associated price tag, minus 110 for both of them. This bet simply means that you are betting whether the game total will go over 8 runs or under 8 runs. And whether you're going with the over 8 or under 8, you're paying minus 110. The minus in front of the number means that it's the more favored outcome. If there's a plus in front of the number, that means that it's the less likely to happen outcome. The number after the minus symbol simply means that's the amount that you have to bet in order to profit $100. So for this exact example, in order to win $100, you have to bet $110. As you can see, if I put down $110 on this over 8 bet between the Rays and the Mets, at the minus 110 American odds, I'd be winning $100. If you lose, you're out your full $110. That creates a long-term disadvantage for the sports books. Here's why. The sportsbook believes there's a 50-50 chance for each outcome. And you, unless you have an edge, your odds are also 50-50. But because you're not being paid evenly on your wins, you're guaranteed to lose over time. This gap between fair odds and the actual payout is what's called the VIG, or house edge. It's the built-in profit margin for the sportsbook. I personally like to think of American odds as nothing more than just a price tag. What is the price tag associated with every single bet? Once you understand that, you can start the price compare across the market. In order to better understand American odds, let's actually take a look at real live examples. What you see in front of you is the Upside.Tools optimizer. What this does is it price compares across the entire market. In the very top column, you'll see a guy named Alec Burleson. His projection for his total home runs is set to 0.5. So what you're going to be betting on here is whether Alec Burleson is going to get the home run or not. So what you can see here in the other column, his over bet at 0.5 is set to plus 575. His American odds for this exact bet is set to plus 575. Now, what do plus odds even mean in terms of American odds? Every single type of American odds, whether they're minus or plus, can be broken down into a true percentage. What you can do in order to find out those true odds is you can head over to an implied odds calculator anywhere online. There's plenty of free ones. As you can see here, since we're already talking about the plus 575 odds, this can be translated to 14.8%. So basically what Flip is saying, hey, this bet at plus 575 has about a 14.8% chance to hit according to our price tag. And as you can see here on Sleeper and BetMGM, they offer completely different price tags. BetMGM and Sleeper are other sportsbooks. And as you can see, for every $100 bet looking at this calculator, you can win an additional $575. In terms of American odds, that's what this plus 575 means. If we were to take this exact same bet and take the over on BetMGM at 550, we'd be returning a $550 bet. And on Sleeper, we'd only be returning $362. So as you can see, Flip is offering the best overall price tag for this specific bet. In other words, the further away you get from minus 100, the better the payout you will receive. And on the flip side, the more negative the number, the worse of a payout you'll receive. The American odds system is totally relative based on the actual bet that you're making. What we need to break down is the true percent odds for each specific bet to hit according to the market, and then compare it back to the actual value that we will be receiving for that bet. Imagine flipping a coin. Pure 50-50 odds. In betting terms, that's plus 100. You bet $1, and if you win, you get $1 back. But what if I told you, if you win, I'll only give you 91 cents? The odds haven't changed, but the payout has. That's now a negative EV, expected value bet. You're losing money in the long run. Now, flip it the other way. What if I said, I'll pay you $1.10 if you win? Same coin flip, same 50-50 chance, but now it's a positive EV bet. Why? Because the payout gives you the edge. This is exactly how sportsbooks make money. They don't change the odds of the event, they just tweak the payout to be worse than fair. Take standard minus 110 to minus 110 odds, for example. Using a no-vig calculator, you'll see those lines imply just a 47.6% win probability, not the true 50%. That missing 2.4% per side, 4.8% total is their built-in edge. Referring back to the house, all the pricing is relative. If you think that you're getting a good price for a house, but somebody else doesn't like that house, obviously they're going to disagree with you. But what if every other similar type of house within your neighborhood is priced more expensive than the house that you buy? You now have data to back up your claim. And that's all we are doing with plus EV betting when making bets on sportsbooks. We're using real market data to back up if our bet is actually a good bet. The more data you have to back up your claim, the better the bet you're making. The reason to follow this type of data is because the market is always adjusting their price tags based on available information. By available information, I mean injury news. I mean sharp money flowing in on overs and unders. I mean rumors. Everything that is readily available can be baked into a price tag that the market is offering. It's the exact same way that the stock market works. Elon Musk goes on to Twitter and starts bashing Donald Trump. Well, the Tesla price drops, right? Because that has a bad reflection on his company. This is not a political video. But seriously, that exact same kind of information is reflected in a price tag that is being offered at a sportsbook. If there was weather news, let's say in Alec Burleson's game coming up later tonight that positively affected the outcome, the market's overall price tag would start shifting closer to the better odds. And for you, meaning the worser price tag. And it's actually hilarious because here on our screen, as you guys just saw earlier in the video, his price tag was set to $5.75. But because that price tag was so off, it looks like it's already shifting closer to the market. And this is exactly what I mean. You see it here real time. As soon as people notice a price discrepancy like Alec Burleson here on Flip, it's going to shift back to the mean. Because I was able to secure the value before the line moved, this also indicates that I grabbed a plus EV play. I got better bang for my buck than I would get if I took the exact same player prop now. So now let's recap what we've learned so far. Fair odds are the true underlying probabilities that sportsbooks believe that specific bets will hit. Implied odds are the payouts the sportsbook gives you. You can also convert these implied odds to a percent. The VIG is the difference, and it's how they profit. Your job is to find bets where the payout beats the true probability, or otherwise known as the fair odds. Here's the fact that most people miss. Every sportsbook has different odds or payouts. The same exact bet listed in this example is set to plus 140 on DraftKings, plus 140 on Caesars, plus 145 on BetMGM, plus 141 on Sleeper, plus 112 on Underdog, and an outstanding plus 200 price tag on Fliff. All same underlying probability, but different payouts. You always want to bet where the odds are presenting the best payouts. But again, better odds don't always mean plus EV. A bet becomes plus EV only when the payout exceeds the true odds. Now for the fun part. Want to see how profitable bettors find value that 99% of the public misses? Let me show you. This right here is exactly how it works with Upside.Tools, a platform that scans the sportsbooks market in real time to spot mispriced bets. It shows you where the edge is and on what sportsbook. Take this example. TJ McConnell's line for total assists is set at 4.5 and the over is listed at plus 114 on FanDuel Sportsbook. But based on the market consensus fair odds, that bet has a plus expected value percentage of 1.55% because FanDuel presents the best price. This means the payout is high enough to make the risk worth it long term. That's value, and that is exactly how the plus EV bet. But keep in mind, odds shift fast. These opportunities often last just a few minutes. If you want to start spotting bets like this, the link to Upside.Tools is in the comment section. Go check it out and start betting with an edge. Well, that will do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy this content, please do hit that subscription button, notification bell, and of course smash that like button for all of our future sports betting content. I'll see you in the next one.